Now, Peter Dutton still hasn't come to a position on The Voice. The Liberal Party, we still don't know where they stand, but he has said this week that he thinks it's on track to fail.
I think The Voice is not going to get up. I don't think it's going to be successful, and that's because the Prime Minister's had this half-hearted effort in relation to just not explaining the detail, not being across the detail. The Prime Minister's making a conscious decision to withhold that information.
But the Prime Minister, James, is saying it's still essential to close the gap. Let's hear from him.
This is not about symbolism or practical outcomes. The Voice is a means to an end to close the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australia on education, on health, on housing, on incarceration rates, on life expectancy, on infant mortality.
Yeah. Well, only he can't tell us one thing in how The Voice will do that.
Did you notice, Rita, there as the Prime Minister was very strongly using his voice in a very loud fashion to address...
And his hat.
And his hands. You know, to a couple of hundred, locals down at Petersham Oval there in the Inner West who had all shown up for a free sausage put on by the council. Thank you, Inner West Council. You know, my rate dollars at work. Thanks, you guys.
Vegan sausages, of course.
I'm sure they were good vegan sausages there, and all the little schnoodles and oodles probably turned their noses up at them. However, the more interesting thing I thought than what Peter Dutton said was what Julian Leeser said. And Julian Leeser, who has been, I think one of the people in that party room who has been on the yes side, he gave a lot of indications that he thought this isn't going to work. And this is the thing I think that has been important about the longer-term strategy that Peter Dutton has played. We've discussed this a lot, and he is giving the people in his party room time and cover as the thing starts to fall apart to say, you know what, more in sorrow than in regret. This is just simply not going to work. And that way, when they do come out, which I do think they will, they will go out with a much more united party room. Andrew Bragg will be, sitting out the back somewhere. And that's, and then that will be a very big blow, I think, because they can't get it up if one party opposes it.
The tell here, Rita, is when the Prime Minister has to continually insist in a loud voice, this is not about symbolism, you know that he's got a big problem, because he wouldn't have to say that if people understood the proposal. But the fact he must continually reiterate, this is not symbolism, tells me that most people think it is symbolism. That's why he's got to continually make that point.